Hello, everybody. In today's video, we're going to cover the topic of e-commerce infrastructure. All right, to begin, let's talk a bit about the internet, shall we? The internet can be defined as an interconnected network of thousands of networks and millions of computers linking businesses, educational institutions, government agencies, and individuals. Well, this is a long and lengthy concept, right? So let's make it in simple terms. The internet is a global computer network for communication. You see, there is no single organization that controls the internet, well, at least entirely. Yet, it has provided the infrastructure for a transformation in commerce, scientific research, and culture. Well, throughout the history of the internet, you can say that the stages in the development of the internet can be broken down into three. First, the innovation phase, where the most basic building blocks of the internet were put in place. The original purpose of the internet was to link large mainframe computers on different college campuses. After innovation comes institutionalization. This was when large institutions such as the US Department of Defense and the National Science Foundation provided funding and legitimization for the fledgling internet. Currently, we're undergoing a stage called commercialization. Right now, this stage is happening as we speak at this very moment, all right? Private corporations began to take over and expand the internet backbone, as well as local service beyond military installations and college campuses to the rest of the world. Right now, as I've said, commercialization is an ongoing process. And there are many things that happens during commercialization that we are familiar with, the breakthroughs of the internet, which will bring us to the second part of the video, commercial applications of the internet. Well, perhaps we can never talk about the internet without mentioning the web, right? Yes, the World Wide Web, one of the internet's most popular services, providing access to billions, perhaps trillions of web pages, navigated by using web browser softwares. Oh, by the way, if you are wondering, a web browser is a software program whose primary purpose is to display web pages. Browsers, some of them also have added features, such as email, newsgrounds, or etc., etc. Web browsers are navigated through a graphical user interface, or in other words, mosaic. In simple terms, these graphical user interface made it possible to view documents on the web graphically. Just think for a moment. It is the reason why you can see the slides I'm putting on the screen right now, instead of things like just text and walls of text, things like that. That's the function of the graphical user interface, right? And a simple thing about the web is that if there's no web, there is no e-commerce. That's a no-brainer. Of course it is, right? The invention of the web has brought an extraordinary expansion of digital services to millions of amateur computer users. In short, the web makes nearly all the rich elements of human expression needed to establish a commercial marketplace available to non-technical computer users worldwide. So, as you can see here, this is the format of a website. You can see the domain name, the name of the website, www, and the HTML afterwards. And some of the top level domains involve things like, .com, .edu, .gov, blah, 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 etc., etc. These are things that you see daily, but you just kind of take for granted because it's just the way it is. Understand? All right. The second innovation in the commercialization era is the mobile platform. Currently, perhaps the newest client for accessing the internet is a mobile phone. Yes, a mobile phone. This change in hardware has reached a tipping point. The form factor of PCs has changed from desktops to laptops and tablet computers, such as the iPad. Tablets are lighter, do not require a complex operating system, and rely on internet cloud to provide processing and storage. Smartphones, in particular, they have created a major shift in computer processors and software that has disrupted the dual monopolies long established by, Intel and Microsoft, whose chips, operating systems, and software applications began dominating the PC market in the 80s. The mobile platform has profound implications for e-commerce because it influences how, where, and when consumers shop and buy, which leads us to the next innovation, cloud computing. Yes. Cloud computing is defined as a model of computing in which computer processing, storage, software, and other services are provided as a shared pool of virtualized resources over the internet. In simple terms, just think about things that give you on-demand access to computing resources, just as long as you have an online internet connection, Google Docs, Google Drive, Dropbox, etc., etc. There are three types of cloud computing: a public cloud, a private cloud, and a hybrid cloud. A public cloud is what we see every day on Google. The service is provided by a third party. The cloud is provided by a third party. And other parties, you and I, just use that cloud to upload our data and access that data on demand. Google Drive and Google Docs, Google Photos. They are examples of public cloud. Private clouds, they are in stark contrast to public clouds. Private clouds are only reserved for certain members of a closed clique. For example, a website of a school, like the website of Foreign Trade University, they are only open for foreign trade students to edit and download stuff from there. And people who are not FTU students are usually exempt from these types of cloud products. The final part of cloud computing is hybrid cloud. It's simple. Hybrid cloud is something that is a combination of private cloud and public cloud. That's it. Easy, right? Public clouds and private clouds, they may have some, benefits, really awesome benefits. It reduces the cost of building and operating websites because the infrastructure cost can be reduced. You know why? Firms can obtain these services online for just a fraction of the cost of owning, and they do not have to hire an entire IT staff to support the infrastructure. However, cloud computing also have, some glaring drawbacks like security risk. When things go online, they can be hacked. There is a reason why the nuclear codes are not online, and they have to be delivered firsthand to the President of the United States. The President would then read the codes out loud vocally to give the command, rather than have it typed on a computer and have some hackers steal it. Too much risk, right? And also, cloud computing requires overdependence on the service providers. Let's just assume for a moment that Google were to crash down, to go broke like tomorrow. I know it sounds really unrealistic, but let's just assume that way for the sake of argument. So what happens to your things in Google Docs, Google Photos, and Google Drive? Gone. All of them gone. The notion of that is scary, right? All right, but eventually, they consider the benefits of cloud computing to far outweigh the drawbacks, which is why things like, what I've said before, Drive, Docs, Photos, they're still prevalent today.
And now we will go through the main services of the internet. The internet can be served as a means of communication. First, emails. Ever since the e-commerce level, electronic mail or emails has been the most used application of the internet. In addition to text typed within the message, emails also allows attachments, which are files inserted within the email message. The files can be documents, images, sounds, or video clips. Messaging application. Instant messaging application, for example, Facebook Messenger allows you to send messages in real time, unlike email. Although text remains the primary communication mechanism in IM, more advanced systems also provide voice and video chat functions. Have you ever wondered what applications like Reddit is called? Well, it is called online message boards, which is a web application that enables internet users to communicate with others, although not in real time. A message board provides a container for various discussions started by members of the board, and depending on the permissions granted to board members by the board's administrator, a person is able to start a thread and reply to other people's threads. Online video conference is probably one of the most popular services right now during COVID-19. It is accessible to anyone with a broadband internet connection and a web camera. The most widely used web conferencing suite of tools is WebEx, now owned by Cisco. Telepresence takes video conferencing up several notches. Rather than single persons meeting by using webcams, telepresence creates an environment in a room using multiple cameras and screens which surround the users. Search engines is the second application of the internet. It identifies web pages that appear to match keywords, also called queries entered by a user, and then provides a list of the best matches. About 10.2 billion out of 16 billion queries a month all over the world are conducted using Google. Desktop search volume is declining as more and more search activities now move to mobile devices. Search engines have also become a crucial tool within e-commerce sites. Customers can search for the product information they want with the help of an internal search program. The difference is that within websites, the search engine is limited to finding matches from that one site only. Downloadable and streaming media. When you download a file from the web, the file is transferred from a web server and is stored on your computer for later use. With the low bandwidth connections of the early internet, audio and video files were difficult to download. But with the huge growth in broadband connections, these files are not only commonplace, but also constitute the majority of web traffic. Streaming media otherwise, for example, Netflix, is an alternative to downloading media. It enables video, music, and other large bandwidth files to be sent to the user that enables them to play the files as they are being delivered. Another service of the internet is virtual reality and augmented reality. Virtual reality, or VR, involves fully immersing users within a virtual world, typically through the use of a head-mounted display connected to headphones and other devices that enable navigation through the experience. It also allows users to feel as if they are actually present in that space. On the other hand, augmented reality, or AR, involves overlaying virtual objects over the real world through smartphones, tablets, or head-mounted display. Perhaps the highest profile use of AR thus far has been in Nintendo's Pokemon Go game. Last but not least, intelligent personal assistants. The idea of having a conversation with the computer, having it understand you, and be able to carry out tasks according to your direction has long been a part of science fiction. But with intelligent assistants, for example, Apple Siri, many capabilities of a computer assistant found in fiction can be executed in reality. Siri has a natural language, conversational interface, situational awareness, and is capable of carrying out many tasks based on verbal commands by delegating requests to a variety of different web services.
So the fourth part, we are going to talk about the future of the internet for e-commerce. Before jump directly into the future, we are going to talk about the current limits. So first of all, it's bandwidth limitation. So what it is, I'm going to explain to you is that, for example, when you use the internet and you feel it's so slow. So this is because there is an insufficient capacity throughout the backbones, the switching centers, or the lines. So this results in a slow peak hour service, or we can call it congestion. The second thing is that the quality service limitation. Today's information packets take a circuitous route to get to the final destination. This creates a phenomenon of latency. So you can imagine that, for example, your message can be sent. So it's quite a bad experience, right? So the next thing is the wide internet. So the internet is still largely based on cables nowadays. So this will make the user, when they use a device such as the computer, feel inconvenient when the computer still have to consistently connect to the cables. Next thing is the network architecture limitation. So today, 1,000 of requests for a single music track from a central server will result in a 1,000 effort by a server to download the music to each requesting client. So this also slowed down the network performance. So in the future, because of the fast speed, so in the future, we have the fiber optic cables. It's the cables that made of strands of glass using light to transmit data, replace existing coaxial and twisted pair cabling. In Vietnamese, we call this cap quang. This can transmit much more data at a faster speed and with a less interfere and better data security, thinner and lighter, and taking up less space during the installation. Next thing could be the Internet 2, the Internet 2 project, an advanced networking consortium to facilitate the development, the deployment, and the use of the revolutionary internet technology, such as a 100 gigabyte per second network, which is pretty fast. And a community provide a secure high-speed network, cloud solutions, research support, and service tailored for research and education. The goal is to create international global system that will enable the researcher and scientists to turn on high capacity network connections. Next thing is artificial intelligence, the AI, the advance in natural language process technique have been enabled Amazon to develop exciting new technology such as Amazon Echo or the Alexa. So the goal is to facilitate sales by understanding customer insight. So you can imagine that the intelligent personal assistant might be able to understand what you are looking for, even when you are not sure how to face it or how what we are looking for. Next thing is the IoT, the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things describes the network of physical objects, so known as things that are embedded with sensors, software, and other technology that are used for the purpose of connecting, exchanging the data with the other device and system over the internet. Then everything will automatically collaborate together and makes things easier. The fifth is internet-based wireless internet access. So the largest wireless internet provided today are cellular phones and the telephone industry. The 5G wireless network will be the next frontier. And the Wi-Fi is the wireless access point known as hotspot. Will connect you directly to the internet and connect to other devices as well. And Bluetooth, it may help you, for example, you can wear wireless earbud, or you can share files in a hallway or conference room to others, pretty easy. So we mentioned about technology. So what is our prediction about the future? So first of all, the increase in bandwidth to make its reliability and quality enhancement, and the creation of the new business model and opportunities. Also, the internet is democratic, so this creates a same speed of internet among people. The upgrade internet pipeline, this will make the internet access to more areas, and the cost of access will be reduced. Internet of Things will make the data collection and the analysis improvement for e-commerce company. So that's the end of our presentation. So thank you for listening.